Okay, Aries, let's go ahead and get into your reading for October 2019. My name is Kayleigh Jean, and welcome to my channel. As I was tuning into your energy for this month, I was given an image, actually, in meditation of someone inside of a bubble, and then they kind of reached their arm out and like pushed their arm through the bubble. And they felt that whatever the atmosphere was like on the outside of the bubble, they felt comfortable with it. And so they started kind of moving towards putting more of themselves outside of the bubble. So I feel like this is a very clear metaphorical message that's coming through spiritually for you that has to do with you getting out of your comfort zone this month. And you may feel kind of drawn to like outside or strange environments. This could manifest in a lot of different ways for you guys, and you do have your full moon this month, so we'll be talking a little bit about that in your reading too. But essentially this does feel like a very important time for you, and I think it's also really important to trust your own cycles and trust your own timing. Like if you're gonna go outside of your bubble this month, Aries, and try something new, or if you're going to set out on a new path, I think it's really important that you are the decider of when and how that happens. I feel like it's, the message is coming through that nature and sort of life itself is very supportive of your internal rhythms and your internal sensations. So if you feel like you need to step away from something and take a break, I feel like your life is actually going to support you in doing that, but it may offer that support in an unusual way. So keep your eyes open and trust your own feelings. If you feel like you want to push forward and outward and try something new, then that's what you have to do. If you feel like you need to break out of an old pattern or an old routine or an old rhythm just to rest and take a break, then that's also fine too. So I hope that that message is helpful for someone out there. Let's go ahead and take a look at your cards. I'm working with the Druid Craft Tarot. So please, Druid Craft Tarot, give us messages for Aries. Please, Tarot, give us messages for Aries. Clear, loving, accurate messages for Aries. Please, Tarot, loving, clear, accurate messages and guidance for Aries. Aries. Okay. Beautiful. So I was just now seeing some kind of mermaid symbolism. Or it could just be some kind of aquatic energy coming through just now, which is unusual for you guys since you are a fire sign. We'll see how that plays out in your reading. Calling on the animal spirits of Aries, clear, loving guidance from the animal spirit guides for Aries this month. So pay attention to where you see these creatures or their likeness, as they may be providing you with additional synchronistic messages throughout the month. I'm going to turn these over and take a look at your animal spirit cards, which represent your animal spirit guides for the month. And they kind of show me insights into the path that you're on and also the obstacles that you're facing or the influences that are interacting with you. So with the firefly as your path, this really speaks a lot to that idea of moving out of the bubble, because the firefly is a card of beginnings. It's a card of kind of like a spiritual spark. And the firefly is a creature that illuminates. It's one of those rare creatures that actually emits physical light. I mean, what an etheric creature to have coming up as your path. And it really does tell me that you are divinely guided, Aries, right now. Whatever you are feeling called towards, whatever you're feeling like you want to move forward with, that's a divine spark within you that's going off. It's lighting you up, and you know that. And I feel like this is just confirmation for you that the sensations of passion and excitement that you're feeling that are causing you to want to take some sort of risk are actually real. They do represent something that is deeply important to you and that really does genuinely light you up. The way in which you go about making this change may have a lot to do with, like I said, I mentioned the word risk. I feel like when we have the bear crossing you, sometimes the bear as a crossing card can represent, like I said before, an obstacle and an influence, or it kind of can represent like the challenge internally that you're going through. And the bear is a very earthly creature. It, to me, is one of the creatures that is the most deeply kind of connected to very earthy energies and very earthy symbolism. It's a forest creature. It tends to kind of move a little bit slowly unless triggered, at which point bears will amaze you with how fast they can run. They are just kind of a creature that their chosen lifestyle is a little bit more ambling. They don't have to worry a lot about a lot of predators. They're quite impressive in their natural environment. And they really just, when they're not being triggered or attacked, or when they're not being made to feel like they're on the defensive, they're very peaceful creatures that are kind of just cruising around, enjoying like the fruits of their environment. And so with this card coming up, I feel like there's several messages here. One of them is that you could be feeling woken up this month, Aries, into some kind of decisive action, which causes you to run basically through life a lot quicker, or causes you to kind of change directions in a very purposeful and directed manner. That's the first thing, is that you could feel like you're sort of waking up from a long slumber as well with the bear. But the slumber, it's not to say that there was anything wrong with it. If there has been a period of hibernation for you, it's like that period was a period of integration. And now for many of you, this period of integration of those long built up lessons is going to be coming to a head internally for you. And it's almost like, again, we have this image of the light going off above you, like I even mentioned with the firefly. It's like a light bulb going off, or it's you're kind of being like switched on. We see that theme in both of these cards, but here the bear is like, oh my gosh, this is what I want. And it's this sun shining over this creature. So you do have some light bulbs going off this month, and some of them may be motivating you to take action in ways that you maybe haven't recently, or haven't that often in the last few years, because you had practical or earthly concerns that you were tending to. But now it's like, for whatever reason, there's this window of time that's opening up where it actually may make sense for you to take a risk in areas of your life where you've previously been sort of playing safe or being a little bit more conservative, either with your energy, with your physical health, for whatever reason, or with your time, or even your money. There's something here about like this window of time where you're like, wait a minute, I see an opportunity. It's going to require me to mobilize. It's going to require me to take risk. But I see this, and I'm really seriously considering it, and I never would have been able to take action on this 6 months ago or a year ago. It's like a very unique time frame that you're in right now, that you find yourself in. So that's kind of what I'm seeing for you, Aries, because this full moon in your sign is coming up on October 13th, has a square from Pluto. Pluto is in a partile square with the sun and the moon. And it's happening in your 10th house of career by your sun sign, if you're a sun sign, and even if you're not an Aries, if you're, whether you have an Aries moon, sun, or rising, this energy can symbolically be represented by 10th house activities. If you have Aries in a prominent place in your chart. And the 10th house can be about career, as well as reputation in the world, and fame or public platforms. Anything that makes you visible is the 10th house. So that Pluto is it's a massive source of power that is highlighting kind of these lunar influences in your career sector, from your career sector. So it's like there's a lot going on for many of you in the area of career where you may feel like you need to make some kind of big change. And you finally now have like the power to do it. So we have the Devil card, which is Cernunnos, which is the forest spirit. We have 10 of Cups, 2 of Wands, 10 of Pentacles, Prince of Pentacles, Death, 4 of Wands, and the Hermit. So this is really strongly correlated with everything that we've seen up to this point. So there's something that I don't know if you're 100% happy with a particular situation in your life, Aries. It could be a situation in your, like, for example, in your career, or it could also be family related because you have the 10 of Cups, but you also have the 10 of Pentacles coming up in this reading. So it's like 10s represent stability in the sense that it's an even number and it's a power number, but at the same time, it also represents endings and things that are about to kind of turn over into a new cycle. So when we see a card like Cernunnos, which shows these people again in hibernation, which was a theme that came in with your animal spirit oracle card, the bear, there's this sense of like hibernating, but what is the hibernation related to? It's related to the 10 of Cups. So maybe there's been a situation that has on the surface been relatively good and stable for you, and there's something that maybe made you feel like you didn't necessarily need or want to rock the boat within that situation. But I feel like as you go into October, you are kind of waking up to something that may or may not be in direct opposition to whatever this is, because this shows a happy family. So this could be a happy family in your work environment, like enjoying the people you work with. It could also be your literal happy family at home or your friend circle, your community, something that has been built up and has been stable for a while in your life. Whatever you're waking up to may not necessarily be in direct conflict with that. However, there is this sense of I need something more. Or there's a sense of I need to reach beyond this right now. Like this is really good. And I'm not trying to undermine everything that I have built up for myself. But at the same time, I find myself at a decision point. Like that's what we see in your cards with the 2 of Wands, is this sense of you're here and you made it this far in your life. You made it to where you are today. With loads of trials, tests, challenges, and triumphs along your way. And now you're kind of at this fork in the road where it's like, am I going to stay in this garden that I have built up for myself, that I've been working the soil, I've been showing up and doing the watering, I've been weeding, I've been cultivating, I've been planting seeds. Am I going to entrust this garden to someone else's care? For example, delegating. If you are like a creative person who has a team, or you have the potential to hire people to help you, or maybe it's your home life, you know, maybe your children are growing and you're ready to bring in a babysitter, or maybe not necessarily a babysitter, but like somebody who can help you more on a daily basis so that you can start directing more of your energy towards a new project or towards your career. Either way, or it could be the opposite way around, but something that you have cultivated up to this point is now, it needs some kind of adjustment. And many of you may feel like you don't want to let go completely of whatever this is. And at the same time, there is this voice inside of you that's saying, I do need something more. I do need to take a risk. I do need to put myself out there. I need to try something new. The 10 of Pentacles, for many of you, I feel is saying it's like a validation, especially around the middle of the month. For one thing, I feel like it's important to take stock of what you already possess, Aries. It's important to take stock of what you have going for you, all of the practical brass tacks things that need to be noted. It would be a great time, for example, to make lists of tasks that need to be finished either in career or in your personal life. And then also make lists of like everything that you have as an asset and everything that you have as a liability in whatever way that is meaningful for you, or whatever way that relates the most to your life. I feel like it's important right now because you're going to be making an important decision. And I think that you're not going to really feel comfortable making that decision unless you really feel that you have a totally clear lay of the land. You need to know how many stones are built into your Great Wall. Like you need to know how many resources you have at your disposal. You need to know the brass tacks of your financial situation. If this is a financial decision, you need to really feel comfortable within yourself that you know exactly what, for example, you owe debt-wise, or you know exactly what your plan is moving forward. Even if you don't stick to that, I feel like for you it's really important to have a sense of awareness of what's in your cupboard. And so maybe taking stock of that could be really like symbolically beneficial, even if it doesn't feel completely related to your major decision or the main focus point, but literally taking stock of what's in your cupboard, what's in your kitchen, what's in your pantry, looking at everything that you have and assessing it and just being aware of it. You may find that you have things that you forgot about or that need to be thrown away or that need to be used up or whatever. And I'm saying this kind of symbolically, but at the same time, I feel like for someone out there, it is actually going to be a good experience, because if you're feeling really overwhelmed about how to take some kind of risk in your life, the only thing that's going to make you feel more comfortable trusting yourself to take that risk in a measured and knowledgeable way is to feel very grounded in your own energy and to feel like you are symbolically and in practical terms very much aware of everything that is under your influence or under your control. And that would include all of the resources that you have, literal physical, material resources, as well as, financial, spiritual, emotional, and your responsibilities as well. So information is your friend this month, Aries. And then we have the Prince of Pentacles and the Death card coming up around the third week of October. The Death card is related to Scorpio, and the Prince of Pentacles card has a very kind of industrious, kind of productive energy to it. So for some of you, this could be saying that there's a Scorpio person that you may be working with or that may be coming into your life around that time, who is either going to help you kind of clear out something that's no longer working for you, or they could be of service to you in some way. And if this person is a Scorpio, and if you get a really good energy from them and a very good vibe from them, and maybe you've known them for a long time, I feel like this is somebody that you can trust to help you either with like brass tacks, or help you maybe you can delegate to them. Scorpios tend to be very like detail oriented. It's one of the things they're not necessarily known for, but in my experience, they definitely are, because if they really care about something, they will obsess about it, and they will obsess about doing a good job. And usually if you're obsessed about doing a good job, that's what makes you catch all of the little details. So it's like the emotional power that Scorpios have, and this may even be relating to an aspect of yourself, Aries, if you have some placements in Scorpio too. But the emotional energy is what gives them the power to do things in a very effective way. And so that could be one way that we could look at this. Another way that may manifest for some of you is that around the third week, you may feel that it's time to end like some aspect of your career with the Prince of Pentacles, because Pentacles relate to career and kind of like how you show up and do your work in the world. And the Prince of Pentacles with the Death card can represent this sense of like leveling up. because you're not willing to be just the prince anymore or the knight anymore. You're moving up to like a duke or a duchess or a king or a queen. You know, it's like you're kind of ready to make that energetic, internal, emotional, and mental shift upward into like a new level of sovereignty. And with that 10th house Pluto going on for you, that does relate symbolically to what's going on for many of you this month. Now we have the Four of Wands with the Hermit at the end of the month. So this actually looks like, for some of you, you could have like a really happy reunion or a really happy kind of homecoming at the end of the month. For some of you, it may be that you've been doing a lot of work and spending a lot of time out of the home, and you're feeling like you really are a hermit at the end of the month. You're feeling like you very much need some time to yourself, some time to unwind. It could also be that there's a surprise party coming for someone out there. Maybe you're participating in it, or maybe for some reason it's for you. But with the Hermit and the Four of Wands, it's like the Hermit, I see the Hermit kind of looking over at the Four of Wands, which represents like where he feels comfortable and where he feels he belongs. And he's coming to that place after a long journey. He looks tired to me in this image. He looks like he has been walking for a long time and felt kind of cold and a little bit alone. And then he sees, it's like this festive energy on the horizon. He sees where he belongs. He sees the goal is within reach, and he's only got to take a number of steps and he'll be there. So that's really kind of what I feel for you at the end of the month, is that you could actually feel really good by the end of October. You could be feeling really like you're just coming home to yourself in a major way, especially after some potentially like transformative or risk-taking energy previously, as we've seen kind of mirrored throughout this reading. So there is something really beautiful on the horizon for Aries. So we have the Resistance card coming up from the Soul Trees Oracle for you. This definitely feels like it's relating to the Cernunnos, the devil energy in the beginning of the month. Because sometimes when we are in that, like, almost, I wouldn't say sleepy rhythm, but when we're on autopilot, because we are doing the same thing that we've done for a while, and we can feel that we're ready for a change, but at the same time, we're kind of, when that change or when that opportunity actually comes, often like the first response is resistance. And that is a creative person's issue. Resistance is always going to come up anytime that we're taking a risk, anytime that we're making a change, anytime that you are leveling up, you're going to encounter resistance. So don't think of it as a bad thing. Think of it as an opportunity for you to do something anyway. Like, feel the resistance or the fear, but make your plans, be strategic, be smart about it, and do it anyway. That is growth, Aries, and you know that. We have inner power. Absolutely. Yes. So you have the power to do this, and you know that. And I feel like it's really important to keep that kind of as your mantra in October, is just inner power, like connecting to that inner power, recognizing that it's there, recognizing that you don't need to draw upon anything else, that you already have all of the power that you need internally. And we've got Victory. I absolutely love this card coming up for you. This is absolutely saying that you can't really hold this back. Like, when we get the Victory card, it's like, even though there is resistance, you can't stop the feeling of needing to move forward. You can struggle against it for a while, but ultimately this surge of confidence, passion, and creative power, you can't stop that from coming. Like, this is coming no matter what, because it's inherent to your nature and how you go through life. It's for you. And because of that, it's coming whether you resist it or not, and it's good. So you don't need to resist it. Just trust. So I feel like this is a really beautiful reading for you, Aries. I hope that this month proves to be a really amazing one for you. If you'd like to book a personal reading with me, I'll put my information for my website below. And if you would like to participate with me in live calls and keep up with what I'm doing spiritually, I do have the Natural Magic School, which is a monthly subscription. Every month we have new lessons and things that we're working on to enhance our ability to work with magic on our own. So if that interests you, I'll put the information below the video as well. In October, our topic is wand making, and we're going through the process of creating your own personal wand, all of the different materials that you may want to use for that, and considerations, as well as sanctification of sacred objects and working with your wand in all of the beautiful ways that you can work with it. So I hope that you have an awesome month in October. I'll put the information below. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and like this video if you enjoyed this reading and if it benefited you in any way. I would love also to hear from you in the comments, so please feel free to message me below, and I hope you have an amazing month. Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you next time. Bye, Aries.